Alright, you guys, what's up? It is Jamin May here, Hasim Rahman Jr. We are back with Counterpunch, and today we're going to be talking about the talk of the town. Jake Paul, Nate Diaz happened this past weekend on Saturday in Dallas, Texas, and my goodness, man. I mean, you look at that fight. Nate Diaz with the ultimate showmanship, he acting like he getting hurt, Jake punch him, he stopping, he taunting him, all those things, but there's a little underlying meaning in between it, and Hasim is gonna get into it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance from both guys. First and foremost, it's not easy to get in there and do 10 rounds under any circumstances. I think much more props goes to Nate Diaz because that was his pro debut. It was his first time even stepping in the boxing ring. But we seen good things from both guys, and we've seen bad things from both guys. So I felt like there was a lot of adversity that had to be overcome on both sides. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, I don't think it was that thrilling of a fight. I don't think that people who are boxing fans, if they didn't know who Jake Paul and Nate Diaz were, that wouldn't have been a fight that you would want to go back and watch again. Not a classic.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at it, we can get into the breakdown of that fight. I mean, first off, just Jake. First off, I want to say he didn't look good. Like overall performance, I wouldn't say that's one of his best. I think everybody can agree that silver fight was probably his best one. But in terms of like his confidence and his technique, I can actually see he got a little bit better. I saw a little bit things. I was like, okay, I could tell he was in the gym working on that. But overall, you for example, you work behind your jab a lot, fighting on the outside, and we talked about this off cam about that's not Jake's style. You know what I mean? Like him trying to do that for 10 rounds. That's not Jake. Like him doing that, the what we saw with BJ Flores was him working on. They mixed in that athleticism and worked around that, heavy pressure, overwhelming people. And you saw that in the first round when, he had Nate hurt bad. I'm like, oh shit, he about to get Nate out of here first round. I was about to jump out my damn chair, right? And then we see in the second round, he just stops doing that. You think that's kind of that was kind of weird when you saw that too, right? I was like, that's
Yeah, I
kind of
seen that.
weird.
I think if BJ was still in his corner, I think he would have got the stoppage. That's my take on that. I think I'm not gonna say exactly why, but I just think that had BJ been there or had BJ been the one instructing him, I think he would have went in. I think he would have had uh uh the correct instructions to go in there and get the stoppage and to attack the body more. Because I think if he'd have went to the body more and then went for the head later, especially in the later rounds, he would have slowed Nate down a lot to the point where he could have overwhelmed him and forced the stoppage. But he's still headhunting after all this time. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah, and Jake is just like that Nate pressure. I was telling everybody, I was like, I'm gonna tell y'all now, Nate's not gonna look like technically best. He's not gonna have the best jab. It's just like the way he boxes is completely unorthodox. Like a lot of boxing coaches probably was fucking pulling out their hair watching Nate box. He just does like a lot of weird stuff, but it works for him though, right? Like you saw him in a clinch. Jake would throw that uppercut, and then Nate come back, boom, 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 for a easy 4 punch combo, and one of them combos it hurt Jake real bad. It hurt Jake bad, and I think if Nate would have came out and just put a little more emphasis to try to steal that round, I think we might be talking about Nate Diaz possibly finishing Jake. Like it was a lot of times in that fight. It's like, damn, like he just got away.
That is the exact reason why I picked JJ over Jake, just because I feel like in those moments I didn't think that Nate Diaz was this spectacular threat that could could pull the trigger and get the job done, I know JJ could do that. I know that him being where he's at and him having the skill set he has, even with the experience he does have, I just honestly believe that he finishes the fight regardless of what even happens between him and Tommy. I believe that styles make fights. So even if Tommy can beat both of them and beat one of them even more decisively than he beat the other, that doesn't mean that that whoever can't come out on top doesn't determine the outcome. It'll give us a better insight, but it definitely doesn't. It's not the end all be all, especially in boxing.
Yeah, for sure. And I gotta agree with you, bro. After seeing that, I'm like, Nate doesn't have the experience to where he knows, because like MMA boxing and then just like regular boxing, it's like completely different. I don't think people understand that. And you saw Nate in there. He didn't cut off the ring. He like I was like, man, just cut off, just do it, And I think JJ, right, because Jake kept circling towards Nate's lead hand every time. He didn't like mix up the footwork to try to catch Nate off guard. It was very, basic and rudimentary to where it's kind of predictable on what he's gonna do as far as his movement. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, if JJ comes out, throws that jab in there to kind of, freeze Jake, and then boom, right hand over the top, or he does one of those angle switches to where it catches Jake off guard. I'm like, he gonna put Jake to sleep. Like straight up, I honestly think I'm gonna go even further than what you say. He putting Jake to sleep, dog. I'm like fully
Yeah,
confident now. At first I was like, I'm kind of on the fence. I was like, he may box Jake up. I don't know. It's kind of a 50-50. After that fight, after seeing 40-year-old Nate Diaz go in there and fucking out pressure Jake Paul, a young, fresher dude with more power. That's the thing. 'Cause I don't think a lot of people realize if Nate had more power, Nate would have probably hurt Jake worse than what he really did. So like
yeah.
you replace him with KSI. Oh yeah, that's an easy knockout. Easy. That's easy.
People don't believe me, but we gotta wait to see that fight. And I think that I think that Jake keeps putting it off because he knows all right, I gotta get better because I can't lose that fight. I gotta make it to where I can't lose. And he's never been in a fight. He hasn't been in a fight yet where he's come out on top where he was supposed to come out on top. That hasn't happened yet. Like all the fights where he comes out on top, we know he's supposed to come out on top. Going into a fight with KSI, he's supposed to come out on top. Now, if he doesn't, that's like the end all. That's the end all be all right there. Now you did all this talking all the way back from Joe Weller days when Joe Weller was fighting KSI. You did all that. It's just been years and years and years and years of build up, and then you lose to the guy you was talking the most shit to. It just would be it would be be the final exposure that they need. But who knows? Like I said, it would be a good fight. I think it would be back and forth. I think he does have some things that he does in the ring that he'll have some success. I just don't think it'll be enough.
Mm, exactly. Hey, seems like we both in agreement on this one, guys. But it has been us over at Counterpunch. Let us know down below in the comment section what do you guys think. We want to hear y'all thoughts about this fight because it seems like it's a lot of variant takes on different social media platforms. Speaking of social media platforms, down below in the description, be sure to follow us on our platforms, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Until next time, it has been JMMA Hasim Rahman Jr. with Counterpunch. We'll see y'all next time.